he wasn't going to be used in England much. He's not going to win the World Test Championship final anymore. So was he going to wait around for another year to come back into India and play some more tests? Probably it didn't make much sense at all, did it? So it makes a lot more sense for him to go out here. The only thing I'm not surprised at, but it's not like he's retired because he's no longer bowling well. And it's not like he's retired because like injury has forced him out. And so I'm a bit surprised that he's leaving mid-series and not saying to the guys, do you want me to hang around? He's retired because he's 38, right? Like he's the amount of work that he has put his body through in that time. He's bowled a lot of deliveries. He's been the centerpiece of the Indian lineup, at home completely. He's traveled around the world all that time. He's retiring because he's 38. So I've heard all sorts of things of like, the team fracturing and everything. I don't believe any of that. I just think you've got, because I think Ashwin's pretty honest. He will tell us if any of those things. We don't need a controversy or, conspiracy with him. He's just going to tell us, right? And so I wouldn't even worry about any of those things. But he is retiring because he's 38.
Yeah.
He had his first bad series recently. He looks around. They've got another tall young off spinner who was picked ahead of him in the first test. Jadeja's still there. Akshar's around. Kuldeep's around. And he probably thinks to himself, well, I'm not going to play in England. I'm not going to play in the World Test Championship. Do I want to keep playing and be a second or third option? With Ashwin, I think what happened was he clearly said, if I'm not first choice anymore and you're not going to use me, I don't want to play and I want to retire. Rohit said, we are going to use you in Adelaide, right? He's a good bowler in Adelaide. We're going to use you in Adelaide. And then Ashwin, I think what would have happened then is his normal competitive juices would have said, well, if they use me in Adelaide, I'll take a bunch of wickets there and that'll get me a test in Brisbane. And then I'll be handy in Brisbane and that'll get me onto the rest of the tour. That didn't happen. And I think he's looked around. He's like, okay, well, I'm not first choice. I might not even be second choice going ahead for the rest of this series. I'm not going to be first choice in the UK either. I wanted to retire. It's time to go. Look, the problem with Indian cricket as it currently stands is that the communication from the BCCI is especially poor, right? It's the worst cricket board in the world for just telling people facts, right? They think it's beneath them to give out correct information, to clear the air. And what happens is you then have this incredible media and social media landscape of 1.3 billion, of which 200 million of these people seem to care about this thing that you have. And you don't actually ever clear the air correctly and speak up and be honest about it. And so there have been things that have been hidden before. But in this particular case, you have a 38-year-old spinner who's taken over 500 international wickets. Why does he want to retire? He's tired, Megha. Right? He's old and tired, right? And sometimes you wake up on a certain day as a professional athlete and you're like, oh, I actually don't mind playing the games, but do I really have to get up now? Do I have to tape my ankles? Do I have to make sure that, the callus on the inside of my finger is looked after? Do I have to hit the gym again? Do I have to make sure my cardio levels are right? Do I have to eat eat the right foods? Do I have to get to the ground 2 hours earlier and all that sort of stuff? And at a certain time, we see these professional athletes all around the world. It gets hard. It's really hard when you're in your late 30s, right? Everything hurts if you're a professional athlete and you're in your late 30s.